Hello, and welcome to Augmented Teachings. Thanks for joining us. Today's episode is all about vibrations.
Trust in the journey. Let your spirit soar. With Augmented Teachings, we'll open the door.
So today's show is about vibrations. So God is an ocean of benevolent energy that creates all things through vibration. God also creates us. God created our soul a long time ago. A soul's journey is very long. And every soul has its own vibration. These things are not known in the Bible because the Bible was not written for this level of intellect that we have now in our society. All right. So as our society moves along, more information is given and understood and accepted. So our souls are made and they have a lower vibration. They have to learn that love and compassion on their own because they're separate from Source now. So they're part of Source. Now they're not. They have their own identity. And they don't have that love and compassion that's within Source automatically because they're away from it. So our souls will learn through experiences, learn through differences and similarities with other souls on the other side of the veil. But this 3D reality was made for learning and experiencing. This 3D reality, not just Earth, but all this 3D reality was created so that we can learn faster. Our souls can vibrate higher, faster. It's like the express lane for learning. And as we vibrate at a higher frequency, we actually become more benevolent and more in line with God. So as the Bible says, as above, so below. It's the same thing. If you have a low vibration on the other side of the veil, you'll have a lower vibration here. But the goal is to raise that vibration through our experiences, through our intellect, through conversations, through adaptation to different situations. And when we do that, we become that thing that we inspire to be the most, which is in a full alignment with Source, which is the Christ consciousness or reaching the level of Buddha. And when you realize that vibration is the language of energy, we have to realize that not all souls here have the same vibration. As I say, age of soul, correct? Yeah. Age of soul. I was doing rideshare today, and some people could not get past the Old Testament because the Old Testament is based on fear, judgment, and punishment. And even when I would pull scriptures out of the New Testament of love and compassion and explain how it's correct through my studies, they still would go right back to the Old Testament because they could not bring their vibration up to match the New Testament, let alone moving past that into realizing God is expression of love, not a book at all. So our goal is not to dwell in the lower vibration, but find ways to raise that vibration within us, and in turn, eventually bringing that high vibration back to Source.
Exactly. Yeah. Hi, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I totally agree. I think just us being here, humans, right? When Source wanted to experience, it had to fragment itself, which are those souls and that light that we are, that energy through vibration manifested our 3D self, the skin, the bones, all of that, right? So vibration, literally, Source manifested our bodies and then put that energy and light into those bodies. Without vibration, that wouldn't even have been possible. So anyways, that's just my thought as you're going into it and we're getting started here.
Right. And really, when we have, and that's one of the problems we have right now, we have the low energy people, the low vibration people who are not adhering to the teachings of the higher vibration people, the people that have been here enough times and have learned through their mistakes and their successes how to vibrate at a higher level. Matter of fact, they're being shunned. They're being ostracized. They're being punished for being accepting, for having learned love, compassion, and acceptance. And that's one of the tragedies we have right now is these lower vibration souls are not moving forward at all, and they're getting stuck, and they're not coming up to the other levels. And that really is a shame, because we need to realize that as they stay down, Source also stays down, and we have to find ways to help them move up. And it's very difficult. Like I said, I had a couple of low vibration people that were stuck, and even though I could explain myself and explain the situation, one of them he was all into he thought it was good to hit your kids, and I was like, okay, I explained it to him. You hit your kids, God feels that. And when you return back home and you go through your past life review, you feel it too. There's no way around it. What you do unto others, you literally do unto yourself. And he was still like, well, the Bible said it was okay to do it, so I'm going to do it anyway. I'm like, okay, well, it's okay. You can learn the hard way or the easy way. You hear what I'm saying? Put some effort into it, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and just learn by trial and error, but it takes a lot longer that way.
And it's important to say that is only an interpretation of religion, saying that the Bible gives permission to harm other people. Right? Those stories and allegories are meant as things for us to not do. Right? It's not saying, oh, well, these people did it, so you can do it as well. Right. No, it's a story of we don't harm those other people. Right? We don't. If God is an expression of love, what is the love in that? Right. That is about controlling through fear, through intimidation, and things like that. Right. That's not increasing our vibration at all.
Right. And the lower vibration people, they have this idea that God is just as messed up as they are. Right? So God is to be feared, and God's going to judge you, and God's going to punish you. And it's like, but benevolence can't do that. I try to explain to them literally that God does not know these things. Unconditional love does not know fear, judgment, punishment, hate, greed.
Right, there is no opposite.
That doesn't know that. It is pure love. And I try to explain to them that all these other traits of fear, judgment, punishment cannot create, but God is the creator. And not only that, nobody would worship somebody or follow somebody that lives in fear and judgment. But they have a feeling that the Old Testament's correct and they have to do these certain things. I said, God doesn't have to, because when you turn back home, you have no ego and you see things for how they truly are. And you experience what you put out into the world, you feel. So we learn the easy way or the hard way. And unfortunately, there's a lot of lower vibrations, but there is hope. There's people like us out there putting information out. There's a lot of new artists that are putting information out that help the lower vibrations maybe come into the light a little bit, Yeah. But when you have such a disparaging of vibrations, you have somebody that's very high vibration and someone's very low vibration. It's hard to get them to move the gap, but we can plant seeds to help them.
The young souls, even in old age, if they're in an old age here, they're still could be young souls, right? So if you see an older person, especially in leadership positions and things like that, doing almost like what a child would do, right? Throwing tantrums, threatening to hitting, all those types of things, that is very, very reflective of a young soul, right? But even just, I don't know what it is, but those young souls are so self-indulged in I. They're not concerned with the we, right? They only seem concerned with those situations when there's some sort of big act of violence or something happening where everyone's just joining together for that moment, but it's not something that they're sustained in the way they live or the way they perceive things or treat others on a normal daily basis. Right. And that is the low vibration type of thing of only seeing it from the I perspective instead of for the group.
Right. And one of the things people don't realize is that on the other side of the veil, we feel the vibration of everybody and everything. Everything has a vibration to it. Always, at all times. So this pen right here is made of atoms. These atoms don't spin, they vibrate. And this vibration can be felt by your soul. It's harder to feel now because we're in these vessels. But this pen has a vibration. It's a lower vibration because it's plastic. right? God made this. God made the air that I'm breathing, the food in my belly. It made everything through vibration of the atoms. On the other side of the veil, we can also feel this. This is an amethyst. This amethyst vibrates at a much higher frequency. Now our souls can feel it. On the other side of the veil, once you're out of your vessel, you can feel the vibration of this pen and you can feel the vibration of this crystal. Mm-hmm. An older soul will be able to bring this innate ability to this side of the veil. And they will feel the vibration of this crystal higher than this pen. Mm-hmm. This is not the devil. This is not the devil. This vibration exists because of God. God creates all things. Not the devil makes some things and God makes some things. God makes all things. Just because somebody feels the vibration of this crystal on this side doesn't mean that they're part of the devil. It just means they're an older soul that has brought that innate wisdom from the other side of the veil to this side of the veil. And there's nothing to be afraid of. Mm-hmm. The people who say it's bad or characterize it as evil are just ignorant. Yeah. And the people who wrote about things like that are ignorant. This is just a vibration. It's a piece of God, just as anything else. Mm-hmm. And this vibration can heal. The higher vibrations are, the more they can heal. Because
it's the energy that is contained within that crystal,
right,
merging with that energy within the person.
Right.
And so that's why when there's this merging, this symbiotic relationship between the two, now the atoms are being manipulated by each other.
Right.
And so that's when that healing can take place. And that's why some of us can feel those vibrations and some of us use those in our healing, modalities to shift our energy so that we are vibrating at a different frequency, so that we are emitting a different, vibe.
Right.
I'm so glad that we have so many friends in common, including us, that is the things that we practice and part of the modalities that we do, right? Because we talk about how do we increase our vibration. It's not just about being kind to others. That is a learned process, right? And the kinder we are to ourselves, that'll reflect more genuine to others.
Absolutely.
But that's not the only way to increase that vibration. It's the harmonization of frequency, like you said, allowing that healing to occur. The way we think allows in our memory, in our DNA, in our muscle, right? The traumas that we have in life, even every emotion has a frequency, right? Anger is at a certain frequency, happiness, right? And sometimes when you suppress feelings and you think like you're being calm in the situation or you're not, you should be crying, but you're holding it in, you're really doing yourself damage, because it's like, it doesn't matter what the emotion is, it is energy that you're suppressing.
It needs to be expressed.
So it has to be expressed. Yeah. It has to be let out, right? And so some of the things at House of Frog, we practice that through breathing and releasing our energy,
movement,
through body movement. For me at home, sometimes I just, I throw on certain music I like and I go outside, right? And I work it out, right? But that energy has to come out no matter what it is. Happiness, joy, all of those things. And so increasing our vibration means dropping our defenses, dropping our resistance. What are they going to think? What is that person? I haven't done this before. I don't know what to do. Sure, you know what to do. Relax. Just relax.
Yeah.
Right? Relax. Drop down those guards and allow yourself to release those energies that really don't serve you and are negative in your life, right? And there's a lot of tools available to learn and understand how you do that. But increasing our vibration really starts with self-care and self-love, right? Because it doesn't matter where you think your vibration is. We co-sign our bullshit the best, right? So we don't always look in that mirror honestly. And sometimes our vibration is lower than we like to admit.
Yeah.
So it always starts with practicing that self-love, and then your experience will get you to those different levels and different things that will allow you to find that serenity and peace in that self-love journey.
And some people say that breath work is the work of the devil. It's like, wait a second. God's the Alpha and the Omega, beginning and the end. our vessels, these that they give us 5 senses, that is of the physical world, but our soul carries the emotional part. Our soul carries the God part within us. So when you go to the other side of the veil, it's filled with emotion because you no longer have these 5 senses. God is an emotion, right? God is emotion on the other side of the veil. And when we work with breath work, it works that emotion, that God part within you to help calm that and to help fix that, correct?
Absolutely. I think when you go over there, it's so, first of all, when I meditate at a deep level and I get the little bit of connectiveness that is source, it is like bathing in love.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
So being over there, I could just, without of all of those things like you're talking about, sometimes, I'm like, why do we choose to come here? Right?
Yeah.
It's seems so much easier on the other side, but
It's that human ego in that moment because then
Right.
we're looking at the duality of it and the contrast.
But the experience on here is, as one of our friends would say, man, is to make the most of every moment, right? The best we can without harming others or ourselves. To make the best of that moment. That increases it too. Having fun, going down a slide.
Yeah.
Right.
Running in nature, right? No one else involved. You can increase your vibration and you don't have to change your belief in anything. You just go outside and be crazy and how you want to be.
Right.
Exactly.
And that joy increases vibration.
Yeah, joy increases the vibration. And that's really what it boils down to. When we learn to find joy within ourselves and those around us, the vibration automatically increases. And that's the hard part. Sometimes people are wallowing in low vibration so much they can't find the good side of a sunny day. And when we learn to bring the best of ourselves, but it takes work. If you don't want to do the work, that's fine. You can come back and do it again. But that's our goal, to raise our vibration, to find joy, to make heaven on earth. God ain't going to do it for you. Jesus ain't going to do it for you. You got to do it for yourself. Here to make heaven on earth takes work. It takes a perspective. You have to change your perspective and change your actions and change your mentality about how to achieve them.
It takes
Absolutely.
dedicated effort and that discipline to cultivate that within yourself, to want to be a better person, to want to raise your vibrations, because when you know better, you do better.
Right. And a lot of people are so hooked on the idea, well, it's the end of days. It's the end of days. I'm like, okay, we'll say you're correct. Say it's the end of days. And the end of days come and you don't have to go to your BS job anymore, and the BS relationship and all this stuff. All these people you don't like are gone now, but you still haven't learned unconditional love. You're just going to go to another classroom that hasn't had their end of days yet.
So start today. Unconditional love. Raise your vibration. Do it
No
now.
kidding. You just go to another
Well,
classroom.
that goes to the point you're making, where sometimes we get busy with all the little daily tasks we're doing, but we got to take time to do that self-love in the little pockets that we can create in
Absolutely.
our busy schedules,
Right. And we're doing that here. Definitely.
Yeah.
We have to talk about mutual understandings that we have. And it brings out the best in us. And it lets us have a safe space where we can talk freely.
Yeah, I know that when we come together on these episodes, it does help to raise my vibration because it shifts my energy.
Right.
I love
too.
talking to you guys. I love these types of topics and conversations, and I love that other people are out there listening to us and, like I said, joining this journey and discovering for themselves how they can shift their energy and their vibration, because there are so many different ways. Sure, we talk about the crystals and breath work and shifting our mindset and everything, but I always encourage people, don't take my word for it. Try it, try some breath work, try some mindfulness, and it's also about the things that we listen to.
Right.
Certain music has different energy and vibrations behind it. And sometimes that's why we shift our music into more like sound healing frequencies, because that helps us to shift the energy and the vibration within us. And also the food we eat, the nutrients that we have or we don't have, that also changes our energy. I was feeling really low a couple of hours ago, and I realized I didn't have my vitamin, my green drink that I've been drinking. So right before we started, I made one and I had some. And slowly it's starting to increase because I was just, having some lack of nutrients. And so like I said, you can do the breath work and you can do all the other things, but it's more about that holistic approach.
Right.
Looking at yourselves from what different avenues, how you can raise your frequency.
Right. And for all you Christians out there that love Jesus, just think how excited you'll be when you show Jesus what you did here, what you accomplished as far as love. Because we didn't come here to worship Jesus. You could have stayed at home. You could have stayed at home and worshiped Jesus all day long, all day, all night. You could stay there and just worship Jesus. We came here to walk the walk of love, as Jesus did, to emulate. And it starts with yourself, learning to love yourself, taking care of yourself, and then you start spreading that out and raising your vibration and everybody else's.
Absolutely. No worship required. It's just the embodiment of that love.
Right.
I know it can be challenging when we're vibrating at certain frequencies and then the people around us aren't. That can be kind of challenging because then there's that, there's no harmony.
Right.
So what do we do in those moments? What do you guys do? Like if you're at work or, with at this grocery store or something and you're in like an energy space where there's just some low vibes. What do you guys do?
For me, just always try to take that deep breath. It helps sometimes when Cinnamon's like, "Hey, breathe." She can hear me, or I'm about to say something I shouldn't say, or just not a kind word to somebody. She'll say, "Take a deep breath." I'm like, "Okay, okay, that sounds good."
Yeah, I just don't rock the boat. They're learning. I was able to learn in my soul's journey the way I needed to learn. They're allowed to learn too. You know what I'm saying? I understand that their situation is creating a negative space that they're going to have to relive and have the repercussions of now, even possibly karmically. But they have to learn one way or the other. I'll let them learn. It's not my place to guide their soul's journey. It's their job.
Because we're here to develop our soul. Right. We can assist others on their journey, but we can't do the work for them.
We give them the information only. Right.
Exactly. Well, we've talked about a lot of different things today. Is there anything that you guys want to share before we wrap it up?
No, just when you go to bed at night, think about what you can do to raise your vibration. You've been there before. You've had those high moments. Think about how you created them, or what lined up for that to happen, and try to recreate that and expand on it.
The power of hindsight is so incredible because it's our greatest teacher. Because that's how we learn. We learn what worked, what didn't, how we can improve ourselves, and remembering that we always have a choice in everything we say, everything we think, and everything we do. Right. And when we are exposed to any energies that are asking us to lower our vibration, we can remember that we have that choice, right? We have that choice to respond, react. How? We get to do that because we can match that energy around us, or we can choose to elevate our vibration and hopefully bring those people and raise their vibration too, at least in the room, or at least while we're around them. We can't we can't control what they do when they're not around us, but we don't have to lower to their vibration. We can keep maintain our vibration. I know that that's challenging sometimes, but it is an option.
I totally agree. I like that approach.
Yeah. So, well, like you always say, always have love and laughter in your heart and keep moving forward. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.